All right, guys, if you have any sort of knee pain, start doing this every day. And if a week later your knees are still in pain, you might have an issue. But if they're feeling way better, chances are your quads are just real tight, okay? I can't tell you how often that's the case. So low-hanging fruit if you're having knee pain, gently start doing some of this stuff. And if you experience significant improvement, double down, okay? What we're gonna do here is some variation of a terminal knee extension or Patrick step to create some mind-muscle connection, some blood flow, and some pump. I'll start with the easiest and progress to the more aggressive variation. The easiest variation would be balance assisted and terminal knee extension. So both feet on the ground, I'm simply flexing and extending this knee, getting a really aggressive squeeze of this inner part of the quad, okay? That's option one. I could make it a little tougher by doing a Patrick step with that band. So I'm still using balance here, but the other foot's off the ground, or I could go no assistance and hit it like this. Either way, I'm just trying to get a bunch of blood flow and a nice pump into that quad. We'll hit that from anywhere to 10 to 20 reps per side, and we'll go immediately into our band assisted reverse Nordic, okay? And you'll notice I have a bunch of accoutrement on here, a lot of different accessories to help us achieve some different things out of the movement. What it is first looks like this, and then I'll show you why you might want to set it up one way or the other for yourself. So here I'm gonna look for full hip extension as priority number one in maintaining that, and then keeping a nice tight stomach with my ribs down. So those two things stay in place the whole time. I'll push my knees forward, hips stay high, and I'll go back as far as my knees will comfortably allow, feeling the stretch on the quads and pushing into that stretch. Hang out in the bottom where you're comfortable. No pain whatsoever where you're stopping, with a nice little pause to ensure that you own that range of motion, and then come up without any change in the hip angle. Really important there. All right, so an example of what I want you to avoid would be this, that little breaking at the hip, okay? So why all these different things? You'll notice I had myself up on this nice cushion here. I had a fairly traumatic ankle break and dislocation on the left one, and while my right ankle can get really flush and I have great extension through it, you'll see that left one is not quite as close, right? So a big gap there for me. So when I go into a flat on the ground or flat surface band Nordic, reverse Nordic, I get way more pain in the ankle than anything on the quad, okay? So for those of you that maybe are lacking in that ankle extension, elevating the knees up to where the feet are below can be a really great tool to take some of that away. And then for those of you that are really fragile there, where again, all you're feeling is ankle and nothing quad, we're gonna flip the feet over the other way. So we're gonna tuck the toes under, and then it's the same idea. Knees a little bit wider than heels, heels a little closer than knees, hips all the way open, and then I'll push back into that Nordic and go from there, taking the ankles entirely out of the equation. So those are the two movements. Again, I would do 2 to 3 sets of this generally. You'll do your Patrick steps, 10 to 20 per side, or terminal knee extension, whatever it is. And then usually with these very low reps, like 5 to 7, take them slow, okay? For some of you, 2 or 3 reps per set will be plenty. But put those back to back, take about 30 seconds between. And then last thing I wanna mention, guys, is this half foam roller, I think was like $12 on Amazon. Phenomenal tool for all kinds of stuff. Here's yet another example where I use it regularly. It's probably my favorite for people with ankle issues when they're doing their Nordics. So you place that right there. It ends up being usually just the right amount to where you can get really aggressive leverage and no pain in the ankles. Half foam roller on Amazon.